Imagine walking through a bustling city, and you see someone slip and fall. What's your first instinct? If you're like most, there's a twinge in your heart, a need to reach out, to comfort, to help. That's empathy and compassion, isn't it? Yet, how do we reconcile these feelings with Stoic wisdom, which often seems like a stern call to emotional restraint? Let's stroll down the ancient paths where Stoics once tread and unravel their take on empathy and compassion. Suppose you've just dropped your favorite cup. It shatters, and as shards scatter, you feel a pang of loss. Seneca would say, you are suffering more in imagination than in reality. But he's not saying don't feel. Instead, he's nudging us to see things as they are, not worse. So, when we see another's misfortune, Stoicism doesn't teach us to be indifferent. Quite the reverse. What it suggests is that empathy is natural, but how we respond, that's where Stoic wisdom kicks in. It's like seeing the world through a lens that brings the true nature of events into focus. Free from the haze of uncontrolled emotions, you're able to offer genuine help, not merely a panicked reaction. The Stoics, they were keen on virtue. They believed that to live a good life, you needed to develop a sound moral character. And guess what's at the heart of this? Yep, virtues like empathy and compassion. Picture compassion as a fire. Left untamed, it can burn wildly, consuming reason. Yet, tended carefully, it warms, guides, and lightens. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic and also a Roman emperor, he had power to wield in decisions that could impact thousands. Despite this, he wrote in his meditations about the importance of connecting with others, understanding their struggles, their pain. He wasn't aloof, he felt deeply. That's why the wisdom he passed down insists that we are part of a larger community, one where everyone's linked. You see, Stoic wisdom doesn't snuff out the flame of compassion. Rather, it teaches us to combine it with reason, to let it ignite actions that are helpful, not just heartfelt. It's like if you see someone out in the cold, without a coat, empathy makes you feel their chill, but Stoic wisdom? It prompts you to offer a blanket or to share your own warmth. And isn't it true? We feel more human when we can step into someone's shoes, sharing in their joys, their sorrows. Epictetus, another Stoic heavyweight, he once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." That's a discerning way to approach empathy. Listen more, assume less, understand deeply before you act. Now, what about those times when our compassion seems tested to its limits? Here's where Stoicism gets really interesting. It tells us to widen our circle of empathy, even to those who harm us. The idea isn't to be a doormat. No, it's to recognize that often, harmful actions come from ignorance or pain. Addressing that rather than retaliating breaks the cycle. So, how do we practically apply Stoic wisdom to empathy and compassion in our daily lives? Let's say a colleague snaps at you. Instead of snapping back, take a breath. Consider what might be driving their behavior. Perhaps they're under pressure. Maybe they're facing personal difficulties. Responding with understanding rather than anger, that's Stoic empathy in action. To sum it up, Stoic wisdom on empathy and compassion isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's about experiencing them fully, yet mindfully. It's about taking that shared human experience, the natural pull we feel towards others' emotions, and channeling it into actions that are considered kind, and ultimately more effective in a world that seems increasingly divided. Applying a bit of Stoic wisdom could be the bridge we need. Treating empathy and compassion as tools honed by reason, we can construct deeper connections, be more supportive to those around us, and foster a community that thrives on understanding. So, the next time you're caught in the rain of someone else's storm, remember that Stoicism doesn't ask you to stay dry and untouched. It invites you to dance in the rain, to share an umbrella, to show the way to shelter. In doing so, you're not just saying you understand, you're living your empathy and compassion with the wisdom of the Stoics guiding your steps. How might your day change if you viewed each act of kindness through this lens? How might our world change? Stoic wisdom doesn't claim to have all the answers, but it certainly provides a compelling way to navigate our complex web of emotions. So as you go forth, consider how you can blend empathy with reason for a life that's not only well felt, but also well lived.